Yeah, I'm outside in an AMG, right outside. TT, two-turn baby girl, you know me.
Yo, what's good? It's Josh again with the Blacker Than Black podcast, where it's always real, where we don't conceal, and where the truth is revealed. And so today, the topic of discussion is the return. As many of you know, I took a hiatus to rebrand this aspect of my life. I was trying to figure out so much on my own, and that became very challenging. It became to a point where I wasn't myself. So I needed to step back in order to produce great content for you guys. And honestly, it's refreshing to be back in front of the camera and in front of the mic. To be real, I enjoy bringing positivity into everybody's lives. And while my main focus is about our community within sports, general topics, and life itself, it's always okay to respond to yourself and take a break to refocus, recharge, and reproduce to attain the ultimate goal of what you are trying to accomplish. And with that, and taking a break, it has allowed me to refine myself and talk to God more and respond accordingly to his purpose for me. And one thing I decided a while back while I was doing this hiatus was I was going to do a Q&A for the return episode that would allow for others to respond to a poll on my Instagram that would also allow for me to create insightful responses. So I have some questions here on my iPad and we're just going to jump straight into it. So to begin, the first question is, what is something about Josh that we do not know? One of the first things that I think many people do not know about me is that I love water sports. That's a small thing that people don't know about me. I think water sports, it really allows you to breathe. It allows you to reimagine what you got going on in your life and to look ahead to the future. I'm not gonna lie, certain water sports just get on my nerves, but I would say water polo, even it's not a water sport, but even golf is very relaxing and it allows you to focus, and it's also a solo sport. So you can't blame anybody else for your mistakes but yourself. And I feel like, especially in life, you have to acknowledge that life is a rigorous task at times, and you can't put your faults and your difficulties on other people's lives. You have to accept those and move forward and become a better person. That's the ultimate purpose of life. And that's just one small thing that people do not know about me. Another thing that people don't know about me, I would say, is that Morehouse was not my first choice. And eventually we're going to answer why Morehouse. That's another question. But Morehouse was not my first choice. I struggled with my college decisions a lot. I went through a difficult period, especially during senior year, where I was trying to figure out the best school for me. And during this process, I realized that I had a pretty good solid test scores, pretty good essays, and also a lot of extracurriculars. But I just wanted something that would fit me regardless of where I went, regardless of what I chose, what I did at the school, all of that. So eventually, Morehouse came about because, number one, I got waitlisted by Howard. But anyways, it don't matter because Morehouse's first two presidents were Morehouse, man. That's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, I say all that to say is Morehouse was not my first choice. Sometimes at the beginning, I've kind of felt that I made the wrong decision. But then what reassured me was NSO week at Morehouse. And with Morehouse not being my first choice, it kind of put me in this grapple state, if you would say, that I didn't realize what I wanted to do. And I began to change and to differentiate my major too many times. And it just became hard. And the top schools that I chose were Howard, FIU, and I would say University of Miami and Ohio State. But I didn't get into half of those schools. I got into two of them. And so I ended up choosing Morehouse because I ended up touring on MVP day. And I fell in love with the campus and the brotherhood there and what it meant to me as a person, as a young black man in society that's struggling with different things. And I believe that as time goes along, that you can find your purpose and what you want to do as a black man, because a lot of times we have such a hard time in life. We're treated the worst, especially the black community. Let's just keep it real. we're the worst treated population on planet Earth, in my opinion. And I feel Morehouse is the prime example of molding young black men into becoming grown men that lead positive change in society. I feel that Morehouse is the breeding ground for excellence. That's just my personal take on it. And speaking on excelling, this leads into the next question. What is the biggest lesson in the past year or two that you have learned? It's really simple. It's 3 words. Life is art. I've started this past semester, my first semester in college, I was taking an art class, and it was about African American mural development. And I don't got a clue in the world on how to paint, how to draw, how to do none of that. And the professor, he's not a really big talker, but it's in a sense you had to like teach yourself certain things. You had to keep practicing. And so I just got done doing one of my paintings that's going in an art show. And I did 2 paintings before this. The 2 paintings that I did prior to this painting, neither one of those were that great. But this painting, it was really special. It was an abstract piece, and if I can't attach it, I will, but if not, it's okay. It was an abstract piece that symbolized many different things. And this piece, it was titled, Whatever You Make It. And that was to say, like, life is essentially whatever you make it. And speaking on the art piece, it took me 2 to 3 times of sketching out this art piece. And I had to keep starting over. And eventually I got tired and I just threw the whole notebook. I got frustrated. I ripped out the sheets and I threw them all in the trash. But the purpose of me ripping out these sheets was not just because of the frustration, but also to prepare me for the masterpiece that I was building. In order to get to the masterpiece in your life, you have to practice and practice and practice until you get frustrated and you can't keep going anymore. Then that's when your body and your everything around you will start reacting. And all the practice that you've put in will happen. It will come to life. And honestly, I just truly believe that without me restarting and having to keep those sheets of paper out, I wouldn't have got the masterpiece that I received. I wouldn't have got the grade on the assignment that I received. Because without me throwing out those sheets, I wouldn't have understood the details of line structure. I wouldn't have understood the details of value in my painting. All of that stuff applies, and that's why I'm saying life is art. Life is essential. It is the breath that we breathe. And honestly, you can't do anything without it. A lot of things happen in life, and there's certain things that we can't control as humans. But do what you can control. Master what you can control. Because eventually your time is coming. Trust, your time is coming. I'm not even at my own time, but I know my time is coming. And this it leads into a lot of things, especially why I haven't posted any new content. Like I explained, I took a long hiatus. I began to come frustrated with the podcast. I wanted to quit on this thing so many times. Every time I try something new, it feels like it fails. It feels like I'm just not good enough to complete the task that I've been called to do. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but so many times we essentially say that we're not ready for certain things, but God has a certain task that he has on our lives. So he already knows what he wants for us to do. It's just like Jeremiah 29:11. But we're not going to get into that. And I don't know, but life has this way of doing things. It has this way of taking you through different challenges to put you at different positives and different highs. And sometimes you're as high as a mountain and sometimes you're as low as a valley. It just depends on what you do with those situations and how you alter those situations to become the person that you need to become in life. And this next part also leads into the next question. What is the most challenging for you at times? I truly believe the most challenging part for me at times, and this has been an ongoing thing in my life, with believing in myself, believing in my capabilities that I have on my life, especially in sports. I'll give an example. So I got cut from baseball in about 7th grade. It was in middle school, and I ended up quitting on baseball. That is a big regret of mine. But I ended up picking up basketball as a hobby. And within basketball, it taught me so many lessons. The first lesson that I learned was essentially, as we all say, never give up. The next lesson that I learned was you are what you do, you are what you practice. So in ninth grade, I started out at a high school called Wolfson High School. And during this process, I was not that good. Don't let these people lie to you. I was trash, like boo-boo water. But as time kept going, I kept practicing. I kept surrounding myself with positive people in my circle who wanted to win in life, who wanted to succeed in what they were doing. And eventually I ended up transferring, as crazy as it may seem, I ended up transferring to Rains High School. And this was the best decision of my life. I began to pick up basketball even more. I fell in love with it even more. And during this time, it was during COVID, and we started AAU practice. And throughout the AAU practices, I would get frustrated because I wasn't as good as everybody else on the team. Everybody else had been playing with each other for a while. And I was this kid from another school where everybody went to Rains, I went to Wolfson. And I just got frustrated. I ended up transferring to Rains, and this is where my career in basketball began to take a leap. Like, all right, here we go. So 11th grade, I started out on JV. JV as a junior is not good. I was not where I wanted to be, but I had to trust the process. And so during this process, I was becoming really good really fast. And with me trusting this process, I ended up altering my career to a point that I didn't see it going. I became this shooter that could shoot lights out. And that was due to me practicing out in the yard from sun up to sundown, every day on the weekend, even throughout the weekdays. After school, I would come and just shoot till my hands got numb, like till my hands got tired. Like I got to a point where it was a routine. I would get up at least 500 shots a day just by shooting the ball, one motion, all day long. And then senior year, I don't know. I stopped believing myself again. And eventually I got it back into a rhythm. But I say that to say, like, this has been an ongoing struggle in my life, not believing in myself. And this challenge has taught me that I need to start engaging more in what I want to do, and that I got to believe in myself even more. I got to be more conscious of what I'm saying to myself. Oh, you can't do this. No. Speak positivity over life. Speak that you can do it. Encourage yourself. Motivate yourself. No one else should motivate you more than you motivate yourself. It should never be like that. That's the biggest thing that I feel as people, we always screw up. We let other people tell us what we can't do when we should be telling ourselves what we can do. And this leads into the next part. With believing in yourself, encouraging yourself, realizing who you are. And this has allowed me to figure out what I want to do as far as my future and my career. It started out, I wanted to be a neurologist. I wanted to figure out what's wrong with people, what's going on in people's brains. And that intrigued from my father's diagnosis, where he had bipolar and schizophrenia. And I just wanted to know what was going on inside of his brain that I couldn't see. And while that was a great idea and it was really bright of me, or whatever the case may be, it wasn't my true passion. It wasn't my true calling. I realize now that my true calling and my true purpose is being in front of the camera. It has taken me far places. Speaking in different engagements, interacting with different people has allowed me to look at life a little differently. It has allowed me to, as I say, refocus, recharge, and reproduce the mind. It has allowed me to see life from a different viewpoint and understand people in some ways that they don't even understand themselves. And so the thing about it is, this is why I want to go into sports journalism and sports personality, media personality. I love engaging. I love talking. And as you can guess, I am a communication studies major. So with the minor in sports journalism. And I mean, honestly, being in the communications department teaches you how to elevate your communication skills. It teaches you how to differentiate what it means to have a positive argument, and I won't say a negative, but a developing argument. it teaches you the essentials that you need to go out into the world and become the person that can communicate off of the television, on the television, anywhere. So, and producing a podcast and being involved in media and content creation is like the jump start to what you want to do eventually in life, far as my career goes. And I had a lot of questions, and I still maybe got about 4 more, but yeah, we're gonna do all 4. But speaking on building and producing a podcast, the next one is, what is the hardest part and the best part about doing a podcast? Okay, we're going to start with the hardest part. The hardest part, I'm going to keep it so real. It is the constant nagging of the technology you got. Like, if your stuff is not up to date, it's going to get challenging quick. Like, I'm not going to lie, this LED light, I got to get a new one. It keep going in and out. I feel like it is it's a big struggle. Like, having the essential equipment that you need so you can produce the best content, but also not trying to splurge your whole entire bank. Like, that's the hardest part about content creation. But the thing that I will say about content creation and podcasts, the best part about it is you learn so much about yourself. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I've gotten a lot of compliments, and this is the thing that I struggle with internally again, about my podcast and me not believing in it, and I thought I wasn't doing anything. But about 2 weeks ago, I had about a group of people tell me that my podcast was doing pretty well. They enjoyed the episodes, and I had so many positive reviews, even encouraging reviews to keep going, and constructive criticism in order to make it better. And seriously, from the bottom of my heart, that means so much to me, because I invest so much time into this. This is my craft, and I want it to be top of the line one day. And I appreciate all of the support from people that continuously support me. Like, you guys do not know how much this means. My first episode generated maybe about 500 views, 500 listens from Apple Podcasts, and then another 160, like 167, somewhere like that, from Spotify. And that was my numbers from about a month ago. Like, I don't even know where it's at now, but honestly, I am so grateful from the bottom of my heart. Like, to all you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the positive encouragement, always lifting me up and encouraging me. But the best part about doing a podcast really is, like I stated, it's just building your brand, becoming who you want to become. No one tells you when to record. No one tells you when not to record. You do everything like you want to do it, just as much as you should do your life the same way. So I feel in this next part of this podcast, it's going to get really good, really fast. Like, I encourage you to share this video, if I didn't mention already. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. So that way we can continue to spread positivity and light into people's dark worlds. But yeah, like, the best part about doing the podcast is just encouraging people. It's another layer to it. Like, encouraging people, giving your outlook on different topics, and becoming who you want to become is something that is extremely important in today's society, because you shouldn't have to rely on what other people tell you. You should be able to understand the capabilities of your life and who you want to become without relying on other people. You should be able to complete the tasks that you want to do in life without relying on others. And eventually we will get there. But it's a lot of layers to life itself and to this podcast. This podcast does not happen overnight. I can guarantee you that. Like, it is a grind. It is a grind. And a lot of things come with a grind, especially my relationship with God. I can't lie. Like, there's certain aspects to this. Like, it's certain stuff that I just struggle with so much. And certain people, they don't see your struggles. But it's hard sometimes. Like, I don't care what nobody say. If you believe in God, you can attest that, bro, it is a struggle every day trying not to sin, trying to be this perfect person. Like, and it's okay not to be perfect. And it's not okay to sin. But still, like, it's okay not to be perfect. You're going to sin. And I've come to grips with that. And like right now, I would honestly say my relationship with God, it can always be better, but I would say it's becoming a great relationship. I'm praying more, I'm fasting more, I'm understanding what he wants me to do more. And I feel like everyone who's involved in not everyone who's involved in anything, but everyone who is living life and they're doing it and they're trying and they're waking up every day, you deserve a pat on the back. Because some days, it's a lot of days where a lot of us don't feel like getting up. But with the strength of God, we get up every single day and we do what we're supposed to do. So give yourself a round of applause for that. Because some people are not trying anymore. Some people have given up on life. But you keep going. You keep trying. You keep trying to elevate your life to get to the next purpose in your life. So commend yourself. Don't look for other people's outlook and praise on what you're doing in your life, because a lot of times you'll never get it from them. But if you continue that internal praise, you'll receive what you want to receive on the inside. And first, I'm going to ask y'all how y'all doing, especially since we're talking about internal praise now and everything that we got going on. How are y'all doing? Drop it in the comments. Let me know your mood. Listen, anything. I'll respond to the comments. I want to resonate with you guys. And so you guys understand that this podcast and what I'm doing is bigger than me. It's bigger than everything around me. It's about everyone and what we have going on as a collective. We're a team at the end of the day. I can't win without you guys, and you guys can't win without me in a sense. But like I said, how are you guys doing? But far as my life goes, I'm doing pretty good, especially in this new season of my life. Like, I'm becoming such a great person, I would say. And not to toot my own horn, but I believe striving to become who I want to become in this next life. Like, this next life is going to be so big. Like, when I promise when I make it, I promise. Because I'm going to make it. I believe in myself. Like, when I make it, it's going to be so big. Like, people are not going to understand who I am again. And I feel like that's the purpose of, especially coming to college. Coming to college allows you to like realize certain things about yourself and what you want to do. It's not like living the college life is cool and all, but you also got to prioritize. And I feel like college teaches you that. It teaches you how to balance your own life on your own, not with parental guidance there 24/7. You have to guide yourself and trust in God's process. And trusting in God's process and being humble has brought me far places, and I'm sure that it would take you guys to even more far places. And, if it's a lot of things, that take a person to a far place. And we have a lot of memories, a lot of regrets that we have, a lot of things that we suffer with. And the thing that I think most, the biggest question that I received on here, I put it last on purpose, was if I could redo anything, what would it be and why? How can I answer it? And this goes to show, like, I'm not reading off of a script. I'm not doing none of that. This is all freelance, because for my podcast, I don't want to read off a script 24/7. I want it to be freelance so people can understand, like, you make mistakes. In order to grow and become this better person, you got to make mistakes in order for it to flourish and be the content that you want it to be whatever you want it to be. In order to grow, you got to make mistakes. Like, that's a part of life. You gonna mess up. You gonna screw up. So, to answer the question though, if I could redo anything, what would it be and why? Okay, I'm gonna say this. If I could redo anything, I think I would, it's going to sound crazy, but I would go back in time. I would take out certain people of my life. And this is going to be a positive look and also another view look. But if I could go back, I would take certain people out of my life. Certain people cause me so much negativity. Negativity is a drug. It's the root of all evil. Toxic people is the root of all evil. Do not surround yourself with negative and toxic people. It is not healthy for you. It is not healthy for you. I promise, it will drain you till you can't be drained anymore. And I truly just believe that if I could redo so much, I would. But I would take out toxic people. But on the flip side, I also believe that with the toxic people being in my life, it has taught me what I don't want to surround myself with, what I don't want to become. It has taught me that I gotta be better than these stereotypes or these toxic traits, so that way I can overpower it and become this great person. I can overpower it and supersede expectations that people have on my life. Surrounding yourself with positivity will change your life. It really will. And that sounds so simple, but it's so challenging to surround yourself with positivity in such a dark world. So, in order to surround yourself with positivity, you may ask, how do you do it? You have to first be positive within yourself. If you're not positive within yourself, if you wake up every single morning and tell yourself that you can't do it, you won't do it. But if you wake up every morning and say, today is going to be a great day, today I'm going to get this done, you're going to get it done. Because now you believe in yourself. Now you're able to articulate your thoughts at a higher level than most people. And I'm not trying to sound like a preacher or nothing, but I'm just saying, like, in order to get to a point where you just flourish and you become this person who exceeds every expectation that's set on your life, you got to wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to change it today. I'm going to stop being this person today. I'm going to ultimately become somebody one day. And a lot of us still struggle with it, and I struggle with it. Some mornings it's hard, some mornings I don't feel like getting up worth the crap. But every single morning I try my hardest to push myself and be a better person. And that wraps up the Q&A session. But before I go, I want to leave you guys with one piece of advice. And I talk about sports a lot, and I am a sports enthusiast. And with basketball and NBA season being back, I want to talk about something. One NBA player, no, two. It's a college basketball player and an NBA player. They have made terrible decisions. They go by, their names are Ja Morant and Mikey Williams. We're going to start with Mikey. Mikey is literally in a situation right now that is very hard to get out of. They're building a case up on him. And if any of y'all don't know what's going on, both of these guys had gun-related issues that are not good for their media presence. It does not help their case. And if I'm being honest, we got to start laying the law down. Like, people got to stop messing around. Like, you got opportunities that people around the world wish they had. People around the world wish they were in your shoes so they can provide and feed their family. And y'all are sitting here taking it for granted. For what? To look cool on social media? Like, it's not fun. It doesn't, in the end, it does not look cool. You don't get no cool points or no brownie points because you decided to post a gun on Twitter and on Instagram and on all your social media to look like this cool guy who got money and fame. It's not cool. And I honestly feel that both of these players, they're great players. They're going to have, if they get the chance to, especially Mikey, if he gets the chance to make it to the NBA, he will have a great career. I also feel like Ja Morant is going to have a great career. But my one piece of advice is, don't let 60 seconds ruin the rest of your life. Letting 60 seconds ruin the rest of your life for a little bit of glory, a little bit of fame is not cool. Your life is precious. You only get one life. So don't allow 60 seconds, a minute, to ruin your life. It's not fun letting that stuff ruin your life. I'm just being honest, like, all this negative stuff going in the world. Why in the world are you posting guns on social media? Why in the world are you smoking the blunt in the camera? That don't add up. Like, dog, you got to get out the hood mentality for just 1 second and just be who you are. Like, stop trying to fit in and create this facade like you somebody that's not that. You don't live that life. You grew up in the suburbs. What are you doing? Be more accountable. Hold yourself accountable. So, like I said, hold yourselves accountable. Make morally right decisions. Become somebody. Do something positive. Matter of fact, go give $1 to a person out on the street just because. You know, you never know how you can bless someone's life. And not putting on a facade and being who you really are is how you bless other people. Because in the end, they will see your humbleness, and then the God in you will spread and God will go in them. So with that being said, it has been a pleasure to be back on another episode of the Blacker Than Black podcast, where it's always real. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share. And as always, it's grateful to be back and doing what I love. And I promise this time is going to be good. It's going to get real good. Don't leave. I promise. Trust the process. Trust what I'm doing here. And as always, it's always love, always real, and never concealed. See y'all soon, and I love y'all.